Oh, Jenna, they were. And, some folks would feel badly for, a colleague in Kevin Wilde's spot. I am not one of those folks. Because when you keep telling people something's going to happen, when you get called the homer, oh, Nick, admit to your biases. Oh, Nick, you just don't like Mac Jones. You don't want to see what is so clear. No. I saw very clearly. Perfect vision over here, my friend. And what I saw was a team that was coaching around its quarterback. And a team that had Wilde's like, oh, we have so many ways to win. We can beat you this way. No. You have one way to win. Get out to a lead, run the ball, let Belichick work his voodoo on the other coaches, and coast in. But at the first sign of adversity, at the first sign of, hey, Mac, can you complete a pass? And he's like, yeah, I did that at Alabama a lot. It's like, yeah, it's a little different. You don't have 3 first-round wide receivers running wide open. We need tight windows. We need good decisions. We need third down conversions. Mac Jones is like, oh, boy. They didn't tell me it was going to be like this at the trademark office. And instead, he's 14 of 32. He has a 31 passer rating. He's a total sometimes a guy's numbers are awful, and it's like, oh, he played better than that. Mac's numbers were awful, Wilds, and he played worse than that. It was a total disaster for your team that now, can we show those AFC standings? Because Nick, why are you talking about the Patriots being on the road? Well, because they're going to be on the road. If they get in, they're on the road the whole time. Oh, that's a fun little letter by the Chiefs logo, by the way. What does that mean? We'll talk about that later. But Wilds, it's exactly what I told you was going to happen. So I don't feel badly for you. You did this to yourself, and you go right ahead, sir.
Okay. Broussard, it was not a total disaster, despite what Nick will say. And by the way, everyone, the trademark office is online. You can do everything online. Mac Jones didn't have to go physically to the trademark office. He did not do that. So here's what happened to your old buddy Kevin Wilde yesterday. Got a bit of a dose of reality alongside a few presents. Got some lovely pots and pans and a big dose of reality courtesy of Josh Allen. Because, Broussard, I had sort of 3 ideas in my mind about who the Patriots were. One idea I had was, hey, you know what? Mac Jones couldn't go toe-to-toe with Josh Allen. I saw him go toe-to-toe with Tom Brady. Josh Allen's not as good as Tom Brady. Reality is he cannot. Josh Allen is by far the best quarterback in the AFC East, and I tip my invisible cap. Idea number 2.
All right.
This defense can carry this team. I've seen this before with Patriots teams. Maybe the offense a little bit funky, but the defense can carry the team. Also, not quite right from old KW there. We've given up 60 points in the last 2 weeks. For the record, the worst team in the league, the Jets, gives up 29.9 on average. So the last 2 weeks, we've been worse than the Jets. And the last one is, we play mistake-free Patriot football. Also, turns out to be not true. Lots of horrible, untimely penalties, dropped balls, and as an added bonus, a dropped interception that could have put us back in the game. So what does this all mean? Although Vegas had us as at one time going to the Super Bowl, I am downgrading us from great team that can win the Super Bowl to the team no one wants to play. That's my new corner I'm on. The team no one wants to play. You want to play the Patriots? I don't think so.
That's the Colts corner,
so
buddy.
I am down. It wasn't a disaster. I just downgraded us from Super Bowl team to team no one wants to play. So that's where I am, Broussard. No. Not a disaster. Okay. Team no one wants to play.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Wilds, because while your greatest fear as we began the show was what in the world was Nick going to say? My greatest fear was that you would go back. See, I remember, Wilds, to use Nick's term, I'm old enough to remember about a year ago, before I was one of the co-hosts, when you wouldn't make predictions, right? I'm still waiting for your Portland Trailblazers prediction from last year's playoffs. That's right. Now I feared that you would stop making predictions. All right, so I'm glad to see that you're staying in the prediction game and this has not driven you away. So good on you, Wilds. Good on you. Now, let me answer the question. Wilds, I told you from baby go
with me.
to they're going to win the Super Bowl, you were going too far. That's it. So for those who thought that the Patriots were the favorites in the AFC, yeah, they got exposed. All right. But for those who understood they're a good team, not a great team. They're a playoff team, and I stand by that. I still believe they'll make the playoffs and can be a spoiler when they get there. They won't win the AFC, but they can be a spoiler when they get there. This was just who they are.
Can't.
Nick, this is who they are. But look, Kansas City's the best team in the AFC. And yeah, Indy's got more punch, and obviously Buffalo certainly did yesterday, than New England. Mm-hmm. But you cannot sit here and tell me that they can't upset someone other than the Chiefs in the AFC playoffs.
I can.
All right, Belichick still knows what he's doing on defense.
No. Titans are the only team that could beat in the playoffs.
Half of the AFC contenders are up and down, Nick. You know this. The team that scared you most, and we'll get to it, the Chargers. What in the world was that yesterday? Yeah. I mean, so these teams are like a roller coaster. It's not just Josh Allen and Buffalo. And let me say this about Mac Jones before you go again, Nick. Mac Jones did not prove yesterday that he's a disaster. He was a disaster yesterday, and he was a disaster last week against Indianapolis.
And the week before.
Here's what he didn't get a chance the week before. He only threw it 3 times. And as Wild points out, completed 66% of his passes. But look, what he proved, Nick, what he proved is this. This is why no rookie quarterback has ever led a team to the Super Bowl. Not Peyton Manning, none of all the all-time greats. None of them led a team to the Super Bowl because they're not ready. And Mac Jones is not ready, but that doesn't make him a scrub. All right, as the pressure has increased, as the expectations have increased, his play has decreased. As teams have gotten some tape on him and watched him over the weeks, and now they're better prepared for him, he has decreased. So he does have to go back to the drawing board. But I still believe he's a game manager who is capable of being a very good quarterback in this league, and you can win with him. So I'm not going to be a prisoner of the moment, Nick, like you, and just bury the kid. But he was bad yesterday.
I'm not a prisoner of the moment. No. I'm just, it's just confirmation of literally what I've said all year. Here's the problem for Mac Jones. There's the high upside doesn't exist. So you would hope at the very least, if we're not going to get the high level throws, Davis Mills yesterday, 3rd round rookie, made more high level throws in one game against the Chargers than Mac has made all year. So one would hope that if you're not going to get the high-level throws, you're at least not going to get the brutal mistakes. You're at least not going to be 1 for 10 on 3rd down. You're at least not going to throw into triple coverage. But, of course, he did all of those things. And here's the problem. The problem is we don't get to act like that we didn't have stances and opinions that have now just gone out the window. Here's things I never want to hear again. I never want to hear Baby Goat again. I never want to hear the dynasty is back again. There is a current dynasty in progress
lost 2 games in
the AFC.
Oh, give me a break.
Yeah, but you're going to go 3 years without winning a playoff game.
Super Bowl in
you're going to go
years.
Buddy.
You're a dynasty now?
Buddy, I got it.
One Super Bowl in 15,
I said it's in progress.
50 years.
Yeah, it's in progress.
Holy cow.
Listen, we're going to have a long list of teams who have won playoff games more recently than the Patriots here in a few weeks. When unless they draw the Titans, they're one and done in the postseason. This was a team that remember the AFC East was the Patriots? Who's going to win the AFC East now? I'm just curious. Is it still the Patriots division, or did the Bills take it back when they actually never had lost it? And here is,
we split with the
in all, right, but who's going to win the division? I'm just curious. You still got the Patriots winning the division? I don't. We could make that bet. But here's I do have, in seriousness, a question for Wildes. Because Mac Jones did just come off his 2 worst games of the year, aside from the Saints game. Just 2 awful games in huge spots. He also talked and gave us a little, window into his mentality during the bye week. I'm not being a smart aleck here. It's an honest question. Do you think that 3-pass game did some damage to his psyche? Do you think that the game where his coach allowed him to throw fewer passes than anyone had thrown in a game in 47 years, and then a week to sit and stew on it, Do you think that hurt him? Because the play on the field would say it did. The play on the field would say Mac Jones has been a different player since the Bills game, the first one.
Look, I think it's a fair question because his performance has gone down. I'm wondering what happened at the bye. But the whole team has played poorly. I do think there is something to your other theory that doesn't look like the guy loves the cold. Granted, we went into Indianapolis, and I don't think it was too cold there. But he hasn't played well in the cold. So I don't know. We got to do some like Rocky 3 training, maybe go into Siberia in the offseason, Jenna.
That's 4.
Rocky 4. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.